Good morning, everybody. This is Judith Echo. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So it's a very chilly morning here in St. Louis. Um, but it's Christmas week. It's supposed to be cold. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's enjoying their family, having good fellowship, maybe easing off of work. Certainly after tomorrow. I get it. It's difficult. It's challenging because the way we've designed our society and our culture, American culture is work and work, work, work. But it's weird. A lot of people, you can't get anything done. No one's going to answer your emails. Starting in the month of December, you're almost not going to get a lot of cooperation done, especially if you have to do something through the government. So it's a dichotomy. But anyway, enjoy your families. We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what 2026 holds. I feel like there are people who aren't going to make it out of 2025. There are certainly ideas, ideologies, and philosophies that should stay in 2025. It's already been tumultuous. This has been like the most up and down, hectic 12 months I can remember. And I had to take care of somebody in hospice last year. I mean, between Elon Musk and this Doge bullshit and Trump and his, you know, really bizarre, aggressive, aggressively ignorant behavior, it's just like what are we witnessing? I have been in a workplace. I was actually in the workplace. I was in the office when Bob McCullough he lost his election. He hired me. He lost his election, and I was in the office when Wesley Bell came in with his team. And that is when I coined the phrase aggressively ignorant. I mean, they had absolutely no idea how anything ran and didn't care. And every time I described what it was like working for him, people were like, that sounds like Trump. I was like, it feels like Trump. It's very strange. There are a lot of people out here who absolutely have no idea what they're doing, but they'll never confess it to you. I was just thinking about Puffy. All these years, he has had to have had imposter syndrome because all these years people were praising him and he's this great this and that. But ultimately, he had no real talent except for seeing talent in other people. But that wasn't enough for him. He could recognize a hit song, but he could not rap. He probably could not act. I haven't seen he did the one little role. And who knows what he had to do to try to advance his career because it sounds like he was abused at every turn. If you believe the speculation, if you believe the gossip, because it sounds like people believe he was molested at his high school because he was an altar boy, and apparently this high school he went to was known for that. And then um, and just in my work, I've seen whenever there's a single parent situation, the kids are always vulnerable to something uh, vulnerable to any adult that the parent may date or be around or trust. That happens all the time. So who knows what his childhood was like? It does not sound like it was super stable. And I see a trend. A lot of successful celebrities have also been victims of child molestation. And people like Oprah and Tyler Perry, like they talk about it, but they also like seem to victimize people, like they're kind of like bullies. If you go back and look at some of the Oprah Winfrey interviews now, I used to think she was a good interviewer, but I also think she's a bully. In retrospect, I can look back and see, oh, she bullied people. That's why she liked Dr. Phil, because he was a little bit of a bully, or a lot of bit of a bully, depending on how you feel about him. But I'm thinking Puffy had imposter syndrome because when you look at his, work now, it's not that impressive. Even the dancing, it's like, you know, you were ambitious and probably ruthless. Clearly, you stole from your artist, but you were not a talented artist. He's basically like Jennifer Lopez. She can't sing. She's not a singer. She had one good movie, Out of Sight, but you know, all the singing she's doing on the internet now, it's like, what are you? You don't sound good. I'm sorry. Where are your friends? Your friends would be like, girl, you had a good run. That was a good op. Just relax. You ain't no singer. And Puff's the same way. It's like, dude, you're not a rapper. You watch some of this stuff now and you're like, God, what were we thinking? He hypnotized us with the shiny suits. And I think that's why he got off of Biggie so fast. Like Biggie died and he was like, okay, now I'm a rapper. And it's like, really? And I wasn't a huge Bad Boy fan. I'm not going to lie. I was proud of him because he went to Howard and he seemed to have made a huge something of himself. And that was great. I thought it was bullshit that he got called an alum after one semester, but okay. But man, I'm just saying, I feel like the veil is thin. People are starting to see the truth. You know, this Epstein thing is ridiculous. Bill Clinton, obvious. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates. Bill Clinton has tons of pictures cavorting with these girls. And I think people are starting to realize it's not just going to be teenagers. So we keep calling them victims and they're underage. That is true. But I think you're going to start to realize that Jeffrey supplied all ages of children to people. And that was his real value, if you will, evil value. Um, because apparently with this latest release of pictures, there's tons of pictures with Jeffrey Epstein with little kids. There's one picture of a little girl sitting on his shoulders. That pose. Like when you're a kid and your dad or your older brother or somebody puts you up on their shoulders. Well, hopefully that person isn't a child molester. I believe. And then he had tons of naked children in his home as quote unquote art. And I think this is going to be really hard for people to accept. But there are tons and tons and tons of child molesters out here, and they don't want somebody who's hit puberty. They want an absolute child. And I believe that is probably where he got the most of his money. And I'm speculating because I don't know these people and I don't know the ins and outs, and they keep releasing little bits of information about Epstein and the victims. We've heard pretty much all of the same names and all of the same MOs, like they were quote unquote models or hired to be models, and they were ranging in ages from like 13 to 17. And I think they've just been holding back the real truth. The stuff they really don't want to let you know is a lot of these people were below 13. I guarantee you, many of his victims were below that age. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're a child molester, you can go find your own teenager. You can drive around wherever you want and find a teenager. Of course, you're going to go to jail. But uh, so he provided secrecy and privacy to this evil, vile, disgusting behavior. But he also probably said, hey, have you ever wanted to be with a little boy? He was an apex predator. And these kind of people, they ask you all these questions, they get you drunk, they ply you with all your vices, and they ask you disgusting questions, and they figure out what you like, and then this guy would videotape it. And so you would be beholden to Jeffrey because not only would he supply you with what you liked, but he also would blackmail you. So you would just be like, I might as well just be friends with the guy. And when you have two, well, at least Clinton was definitely a friend and a fan of Jeffrey Epstein. There's just tons of pictures, the Clinton nudes. And I'm sure that is why Hillary really hates Bill. She was never going to be able to be president. And she's got her own closet. People are very, very clear that they believe Anthony Weiner has video imagery of Hillary and her assistant, who was Weiner's wife, torturing a child. I want to say to death. That might be the rumor. I don't know. But the veil is thin, information is coming out, and I've been telling you for the last 2 years, all you need to do, excuse me, is to have discernment and believe it. God is showing you a new thing, and your job is to believe it. Sorry, choking on my coffee and my thoughts. But yeah, you have to have discernment. You have to know what's true and what's not true. The reason why Jeffrey Epstein never got prosecuted is because presidents were fucking with this dude. And not only was he supplying all these children to have sex with, he was also negotiating very, very big coups, and like this dude was all over politics on behalf of the U.S. and Israel, and maybe another government or two. Like, we've never seen anything like this. So these systems that you've had faith in have been corrupted by people like him. Blackmail was his thing. He provided people with what they wanted sexually, which will make you very uncomfortable. And then he also blackmailed them because it was like, oh, you like that? Go into this room where I will videotape you. And now you're beholden to me. Now I can make you do whatever I want. Like, that's insane. That's insane. And there's a girl on TikTok, Becca Day. She's great, man. She's doing the journalism you'll never see on CBS. Well, especially not now, but you'll never see this anywhere. Uh, there is proof. She has proven that Ghislaine Maxwell, there was a quote unquote rumor that Ghislaine was in Colombia. Uh, I can't remember who the dictator was, but we were messing around with their government, and there was a war. And for fun, Ghislaine was flying a Black Hawk down, I want to say, like, not, that's the movie, like a Black Hawk helicopter, and started for fun shooting at civilians. And it was a rumor, but Becca Day found a picture where she was having a beer in uniform with a Colombian fighter pilot. So she actually did have those relationships and probably did that. These people are insane and sadistic. They hunt children. Look up child hunting. Look up Nicole Kidman's father. So this is real. And that's not even the craziest shit I heard this weekend. The craziest shit I saw this weekend are these people who are doing home braces. They're buying braces off of temu and putting them on their teeth with super glue. Or you can hire this girl who calls herself I do braces, and she will travel to you for $400, and for $150 put some braces on your teeth. No training, no schooling, no license. People don't understand your teeth are for real. The bacteria on your teeth can attack your heart. That's why you have to tell the dentist before you get a cleaning, what your health history is, because you may not make it. I don't understand why anybody would go to this girl's basement in Atlanta and get some braces glued onto their teeth from Temu. I mean, these kids ain't the future. I don't understand. And there's people who are like, I got my braces, and she puts veneers on, and apparently you can get them for like $7 off Temu. I do not want any Temu braces, and I do not want a sister girl putting on Temu braces in her basement. There are people who travel and do their own BBLs. I don't know if you guys remember this case, but there was a case in St. Louis County. A girl flew up from Dallas and basically filled this girl's butt with all kinds of stuff. It was not, uh, surgically moved around fat from her own body like a plastic surgeon would do. And this girl died. And that woman went to prison. She's in a whole prison. And all you people with these fake Timu, well, they're real braces, but it's a fake dentist. They call themselves veneer techs and, braces, applicators. Like, that's not a job. Do not let these people put shit in your mouth with super glue and regular non-sterilized, uh, you know, equipment. And we know China low key hates us. Do you really trust the metal coming from China that's gonna be in your mouth? They already put lead in the baby food. Why wouldn't they give you some subpar braces metal? I don't get it. What is wrong with people? I would never, ever, ever do that. So, listen, you got to be smart out here. You got to be wise. You got to use your discernment and not only ask to be delivered from evil, fear no evil. Because there's plenty of it out here. And folks have sold their souls to just make $1. Why someone would feel comfortable enough rooting around in your mouth for $150? Like, people aren't serious. It's just like Logan said on the last season of Succession. There was a point where he looked at his kids and he was like, I can't give my company to any of you all. You all are not serious people. Right now, we feel like we are in our very, very unserious chapter. But we're not, because we listen to Mad Love and we're doing great. We know all the game. We can see all of it. Because I'm trying to hip y'all to what I see. And I'm not trying to tell you how to think about it, but you should know about it. And if somebody mentions some crazy shit about these temu braces, you need to just slap them. And I know that's probably going to get you some charges, but we are in the phase of America where people just need to to just have the shit slapped out of them, because all of these timeout kids, they're fucking us all up. Because if I had tried some shit like that, I would have gotten the shit slapped out of me. If I had come home with some old generic braces, slap. If I had said to my mom, "Well, for a side hustle, I'm just putting people's braces on with super glue in the basement," slap. You know, my parents both would have been like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You could go to jail. What if these people die and bleed out in the basement?" You know, these people haven't been parented. That's why they're unserious. Is my point. And when you haven't been parented, you grow up as an unparented adult, which means you don't have a lot of discipline. You don't have a lot of voices in your head saying, hey, this is probably not a good idea. You know, that's why you need to get parented when you grow up. You parent yourself the way you were parented as a child, which for me has been an overcorrection. I've been overly cautious. We need more of that though, because if you think you can go put some braces on and you ain't never been to dental school and you're not an orthodontist, you deserve everything coming to you. You deserve prison, because that's where you're gonna go. Because if one of these people dies, or if they get an infection, or their teeth are fucked up, and you get brought up on charges, yeah, you going. There's a dude now who's going. He's going to very big prison because he's just made millions of dollars putting in, veneers and temu braces. Yes, this is the slap the shit out of people era, because the rest of us are ascending and the rest of y'all ain't. That is ignorant as hell. As soon as you say Tumu, I'm getting out of your basement. I wouldn't even go. But if, say, I thought this might be legit, as soon as you say I got these off Timu, I am walking out of your house and I'm slapping the shit out of you. Happy Monday.